Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessToTrader.com nightly wrap-up show. Thank you very much for tuning in, spending a couple of minutes of your day. All we ask is if you like the content, like the video. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully I will continue to point you in the right direction. So let's talk about it. Big jobs number came out this morning. Unemployment fell to 4.3%. The initial move in the market was very, very aggressive, and we gapped up pretty big, right? We gapped up pretty big here, as you can see by that opening print pre-market. The problem is the same problem we ran into yesterday. It got rejected into supply. So now you have back-to-back days of the market trying to get back over supply, and it's been rejected into that 317 level now back-to-back days. Is this, again, like I said last night, is this the end of the world? No, it's not the end of the world, but keep this in mind. All this is happening still below the 50-day moving average, and the longer that we cannot get back above that number, and that number is going to be roughly 618, 619 on the close. So the fact that we are still building a ceiling, we can't get through that area, is creating a problem. The more days pass, the higher probability that we will see lower prices. So it's super important for the next couple of days. Tomorrow's what, Thursday? For the next couple of days for the bulls to get back above that number. Any number close above 618, 619. Let me give you the exact number. Yeah, you see this number it's 619.20. So any close over 619.20s on the bulls, it is risk back on, right? It is risk back on. For now, again, we're having a problem getting back above that level. And instantly the market got faded, right? It was a very, very important thing. This morning, we have a slew of earnings come out. Shopify first looked really, really strong, right? Really, really strong, and then just absolutely imploded. It went from up 16 to down like 10 very, very aggressively. ALAB in the semiconductor space, horrible earnings, got hit as well. You got Lyft, right? You got a lot of, it's the same thing over and over again. You're seeing a lot of problems kind of spread out everywhere. And this is kind of how it's correlating the price action macro-wise on the NASDAQ 100. Again, are there names that are acting very, very well? Absolutely. And this kind of brings me to last night's video, right? This is last night's video. If you guys remember, I was watching MU for today. Sandus, not as much. I would trade MU over Sandus. Sandus is, again, $2 spread. It's a little crazy for me. But I was watching MU going into today's session, and this morning you had a CFO. I forgot what it was. Was it an interview? Whatever it was, whatever it's a conference call, whatever it was. But the CFO of Micron started making some really bullish comments about their backlogs, about their pricing in the future. And I've always said this, and this is why technical analysis is so important. You don't want to anticipate, right? As a matter of fact, the notes that I wrote on the Twitter feed, I go 475 is the pre-market highs. CFO made positive outlook, held its range yesterday. Again, never broke down. I was waiting for the breakdown today. That never came. This is why you don't anticipate. Guys, don't guess. We're not paid to guess. We're paid to follow protocol. If a stock doesn't confirm, that means that it's not in place. So you have to wait. Don't anticipate. Anticipation will kill you, especially if you're trading on the option side, because you're fighting night-only price action. You're fighting time as well. You have to wait for technical confirmation. MU actually gave a pretty good upside initial move from 400 to like 408, 409. But this is a very, very important lesson, guys. Do not anticipate. So you had Sandus going up. You had Sandus going up in sympathy. And at one point, NVIDIA started waking up as well. It kind of died down towards the end of the day. But the biggest takeaway I've seen for today is kind of, if you go back to last night's video and we talked about the names that we did want to watch for confirmation, the names that were weak, they couldn't rally, we're starting to head back on the previous night's lows or the previous range lows, they all confirmed. And this was one of the more aggressive, this was definitely one of the most aggressive sessions we saw. The morning got faded. had phenomenal moves to the downside, and then the dip was bought, and then they rallied the market only to sell it towards the close with more chatter about us sending, I think, military submarine somewhere towards Iran. I don't know if that was real, if that was a rumor, but if you look at the 60-minute view of the futures, you could of the QQQs, you kind of see big gap up, big sell-off, big recovery, and big, a little bit of a sell-off into the close. So a lot of volatility, but it made a lot of sense because, again, if you look at everything we were watching, right? Everything we were watching, again, we were prepared, right? And I've always said this, folks, it's not about being right. It's not trying to guess the market. It's not trying to close. It's not trying to figure out the closing price. We're trading our range. At least I do, right? I trade ranges. I trade weak side ranges, I trade buy side ranges, and I'm trying to take advantage of that interval. Sometimes that interval could be 50 cents. It works out that way. Sometimes the interval could be $15. But the point is, we're not trying to guess the closing price. We're trying to win our interval. And that's a very, very important part about trading, especially in the wonderful world of pivots. So we talked about MU. For all you guys that took MU at the open, good job there. Tesla continues to be really, really strong. There was two channels here pre-market we identified, 427.25. If you guys remember last night's video, we talked about that 428 level that needed to confirm. So you had 427.25, 428.50s needs to confirm for initial potential move to 432. Not only did it get to 432, it pushed to 436 very, very aggressively. And you can see here, so here is the let me just give you why those levels. So here is the 427.25 level, and here was the 428.50s level, and it overshot the 32 level, traded all the way up to 36. Again, this is holding up fairly strong, and this is now the highest close in this whole formation. It's going to still need a lot of work. It's going to still need a lot of baby steps to get back above the 50-day. But once it gets above the 50-day, the first close above the 50-day, yes, I will be absolutely long the stock. But for now, I am trading ranges. I caught a pretty good dip on Tesla today at the open off that first 36 pull. And then we shorted this thing in the afternoon for another couple of bucks. So it was a pretty good move on Tesla for the day. But again, it still needs a lot of work to get above its macro channel. NVIDIA, I'm still watching, never confirmed. Again, we talked about Google, right? We talked about Google yesterday. We talked about PLTR yesterday. They all lost their ranges. Google, 314.60 if it builds below, can flush more. They were coming for very, very aggressive 310 expirations, right? Today's expiration, you really got to like the 0 days to expiration, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It's actually adding an incredible expansion dimension to all these beta names. But you can see Google lost its 314.60 level, traded right to this 310 level, which is the 64-day EMA. If this thing loses the 64-day EMA in the next couple of days, it should test its earnings low. Same thing with PLTR. PLTR lost the 5-day moving average. Funny thing is, this was actually my first trade of the day. I can't say I butchered the trade, but I shorted PLTR. It went down. It took out opening range lows. It took out pre-market lows. I was like, all right, this thing's about to get hit. And I wound up getting squeezed back $1. It actually went up like almost $2 before it like crashed 7. I was like, the hell just happened? But Tesla made up for it very, very well. Then I shortened some Google on a rejection, did very, very well. So more important, again, the value was there, but it's kind of very odd how the first opening range play on PLTR didn't work. And I believe that is it, right? Yeah, PLTR. Yeah, I don't know why PLTR just didn't work. Amazon, again, we also have here, you can see the pivots here, 377 short, Amazon 206.40 short, and Amazon got hit as well, right? Again, you can see all these stocks that didn't have great quarters. They had dead cat bounces, they got faded, and now you can see Amazon, might be a day or two away from revisiting its earnings lows. Very, very possible indeed. So going into tomorrow, look, I'm trying my best. I really am trying my best to kind of will the bulls to kind of reclaim back their levels. They're just having a very, very hard time. So the longer they can't do it, the shorts are getting better and better by the day. And let me give you guys some ideas for tomorrow, some names that I am definitely watching. Amazon, I am definitely watching tomorrow through today's channel. I'm still watching Google for the retest the lows. It looks like, I forgot which hedge fund manager it was. It was one of the big ones. I forgot. Oh, it was Ackman. Ackman took a stake in Meta. Doesn't really matter who takes a stake in Meta, takes a stake in anything. Meta now has defended the 50-day moving average 3 days, 3 of the last 5 days. If Meta loses the 50-day moving average, I will be a seller on Meta. Reddit, keep an eye on Reddit. Some good put buying coming in on the stock. Let's watch this thing on a 5-day range breakdown for potential tomorrow. I kind of like this CRWV. It hasn't confirmed, guys. It has not confirmed. We talked about it in last night's video. It reclaimed the 50, reclaimed the 150-day moving average, and now it's just flagging. They continue to bet this thing really, really aggressively for the June 150 calls, right? And this is like for the last 3 days. So I don't know what the rationale behind it or the reasoning behind it, but they are betting. Right now it's digesting. I'm still watching this thing. If it could confirm back the highs from 3 days ago, I will take it for a long. I definitely want to keep an eye on that as well. And might as well talk about Micron, right? Let's see if there's a day two, right? Let's see if there's a day two. Again, here's my point. It never confirmed the bottom channel, right? So now it closed. Remember we talked about 413, right? A couple of days ago. I won't be interested about 413, 413, 413. Well, look where it stopped, right? Look where it stopped in this 413, 414 level. If MU could just get back above today's highs, this thing could really start opening up. So let's keep an eye on that as well. So we're watching Amazon, watching PLTR, watching Google, great pivots on these things today. Still watching Tesla. Who knows? Maybe Tesla grinds it out and starts reclaiming back the 50-day moving average in the next several days. I will be watching Meta in case it loses the 50-day moving average. I will be watching CRWV to find it bust out for the 3-day channel. And the most important part is we are prepared on both sides. Again, guys, if you are kind of stuck in your career and you are interested in pivots, all you need is 30 days, folks. That's it. 30 days to see if it's a right fit for you. And if it's not, that's cool. Again, Baskin-Robbins 31 flavors, but I have a sneaky suspicion once you see it, you will like it. Guys, have a great night, everybody. God bless, and I will see you all on the field tomorrow.